reach back to Africa in a quest to find the origin of the guitar.
The kora, the lute, so many names that people have given this instrument point to the fact that this instrument actually started from Africa.
Showcasing the world's oldest string instrument, the UNE, also known as the musical bow, as we go along.
Wow, so there was an instrument that they can actually play with the mouth and it's like a bow. Wow.
Bess, Oliver the Cope, Asha, GT the Guitarman are a few Nigerian musicians who have the guitar as their musical instrument of choice.
I think I've always been fascinated with the sound that comes out of the guitar. And I think years back I had this wood and I would draw lines on it. And I would just fascinate like as if I'm playing a real guitar. You know, well, being that I wasn't able to buy one myself, it was expensive then. It's still expensive though if you want a good guitar. And I started saving. I couldn't get a guitar, and fortunately for me, I was able to see. I saw someone on the street, John Akombi, who was playing, and I approached him. He was like, if you want to learn, then you have to get your guitar. I kept saving. I couldn't still save. Then someone gave me his guitar, a very bad guitar actually, but I did repair works on it, and that's how it started.
The question that comes to mind is if the guitar, a string-based musical instrument, has existed as old as man. Did it just fall right from the sky? Was it inspired by the gods like the Greek folklore, or did it evolve with time? Reasonable facts have emerged to suggest that the almighty guitar might just have its roots in the humble backyard of Africa. We went all the way to the academic city of Nsukka, where we met Dr. Ikenna Onwegbuna of the Music Department, University of Nigeria.
As a child, the instrument called UNE happened to be one of the instruments we produced as children and played with by stringing a bow as a wooden bow, and then making a resonator with a can, tin milk can, and a liquid peak milk can then at one extreme, and then using either a broomstick or some other thing to strike, the instrument, at the same time pull at it, okay? And then with the can as the resonator at one end, which we held close to our legs with the instrument bending that way. You discover that sometimes too, we increased the tension on the string by pushing back one end of the bow, and that changes the pitch of the string, or even pulling it back, okay? At this time, manipulating the tension on the string to get different pitches of sound. So we did this the same time we sang. And the basic sound then was what informed the name, which we call Tabulegede. Because so we call that Tabulegede, and all of that. At which time we didn't even know that we had stumbled on something that had existed and had been used professionally. And I also saw that the resonator was not just only the can fixed at one end of the bow, but even the mouth, the human mouth, was lowered around the string, and by manipulation of the hollow in the mouth, the texture and pitches change of the sound it produces. I also saw that even the Hausas had what they called goje, which also had a resonator made of skin, of animal skin, and then one short wood with one string tied to it, which was what Dan Mariah Jos, used in his music. When eventually I also heard the music of Okechukwu Nwato and saw him on television as a child, I then got to know that that instrument had an Igbo name, which is UNE. UNE. And then the Hausa Goje was called Obakwala in Igbo. So all these instruments actually happen to be African instruments originally.
Could the modern guitar have evolved from UNE, a wooden bow with a string tied at both ends and found in the eastern part of Nigeria? This ancient musical bow goes by several names depending on which part of Africa you come from. Though rare to find in modern times, we quote Emmanuel, a traditional instrument maker in New Market, Enugu State. He takes us through the making process of the UNE.
UNE na agbagbo odi nke okechukwu ato a ibete osisi no ra na ofuma ikpucha azu ikpucha idewe ka akwụkwọ obere na awụ iwobute ibe ndi ayi wolu etiti nkwụ igu nkwụ a iwopụta udiri ihe memere ka na ndị bayi na akpa ndị nka na akpa iwopụta memere ya ahụ iwetazo osisi ahụ iweta ibe ndi gebendi betu ọnụ ụzọ na-abọ betu ọnụ ụzọ na-abọ ike memere ahụ na isi ebe ahụ ibetu ọnụ ụzọ na-abọ kekwa n'ebe nke ọzọ iweta ibetega obere osisi ịbọ ijide ya ka ota iwere tie n'akụkụ ọnụ ọma mgbe ego n'ọnụ ị na-akpa ọnụgụ ka ị ga-eji wee na-eme sound a na-aga ime ọnụgụ otu a sound ada otu a isa ọnụgụ asa sound ya adakwa otu a ọgụgụ ihe dị na.
Beyond being of entertainment value, the UNE was an integral part of the people's culture. In different parts of the East, cultural rituals like teeth filing, adult male circumcision, and aristocratic body scarification, the UNE was used as a musical anesthetic. Music of Okoye, who popularized the UNE music with several musical works released on tape. The ingenuity of Africans know no bounds. Slaves captured by slave raiders were taken to the New World, and with them, their bags of tricks.
Remember the story of slave trade. Going back to Europe, the Portuguese then went back to Africa, using the Arabs as the slave raiders, moved into West Africa really, and a bit of Central Africa, and carted away slaves who they took to America to develop the New World. As they took them away, these slaves who did not know where they were going to did not part with their musical instruments, which happened to be a core aspect of their culture. Okay, so these instruments went from Africa to America, and the frustrations in the slave camp needed some sort of palliatives for these blacks who were forced into inhuman conditions while they labored to develop the New World. So when they found space at any leisure time, they made music, and they played with the instruments that they traveled to America with. Those ones that are handy include the UNE. So over time, they got involved with other people from different cultures, different races, and naturally, human beings make efforts ever to improve on whatever, because culture itself is dynamic, and music is an item of culture, including the instruments. So over time, these instruments started, developing through modifications. First, it became banjo, okay, from where fiddle also came, which was where violin took off from, and then the guitar took off from the banjo, the mandolin, and all of that. All developments from the Obakwara and UNE, which were taken from Africa.
Several schools of thought have wondered why the black man has such rare dexterity when it comes to playing the guitar.
A guitar that finds itself in the hands of a black musician, whether of the African American, extraction or from the core African extraction, would express what you never thought the guitar would do. Western use of the guitar is mostly for accompaniment where they strum, chords. But the sense of rhythm in Africa, using the guitar, you discover that there may be 3 guitarists playing, supplying different rhythm, picking notes and plucking the strings instead of strumming chords like the white man would do.
My style of music is a little bit different from the indigenous high life and that people play. It's like more of chords, like me strumming, like classical picks, that's basically what makes majority of what I play. I mean, obviously it's being accompanied by my voice, so I just strum and I could sing whatever I like. Yeah, I could sing whatever I like. Oh yeah, I just strum and play and sing and let the music flow. That's what it is. And it's different from what high life musicians do when they would do all those, well, it's different from it. And most high life musicians would they would play loads of scales in their songs, and I like it. I love it. I love high life too. I love high life.
So, next time you see a guitar stand, stare and smile, for that Western contraption might just have evolved from your roots, Africa.
Another day, another story waiting to be told. Whatever all our job brings my way, 'cause some is here. Another day, another story waiting to be told. Whatever all our job brings my way, 'cause some is here. I digress to yesterday, all the sorrows and pain he brought my way. Hey, whatever all our job brings my way, 'cause some is here. I digress to yesterday, all the sorrows and pain he brought my way.